And joining me now is California Senator Alex Padilla. Senator, it's always a pleasure to see you. I thank you very much for your time. And there's so much to talk about, so much going on as of right now. I know that you voted against a budget blueprint adopted by the House today, last week, right, in the Senate. What do you see going forward, things turning out? The Speaker Johnson talked about that elections have consequences, that the American people gave essentially Republicans, the House, the Senate, and the White House. What is it that you see going forward on this specific issue?
Well, good to be back with you, Jose. And for everybody watching, let's just be absolutely clear what's going on here. We know Republicans are trying to gut into the federal budget, things like Social Security, Medicaid, etc., simply to fund more tax breaks for the wealthiest people in America and the biggest corporations on the planet. Their only argument is, Senate Republicans want to make deep cuts. House Republicans want to make even deeper cuts. So the real question is, what does that mean for working families in California and across the country? You think folk that have been paying into Social Security their entire careers and have reached retirement should be able to count on that. Republicans want to strip that security away. So many people who rely on programs like Medicaid for health care, all of a sudden that is going to be put in jeopardy. This is in addition, by the way, to the staffing freezes and the layoffs and the funding freezes and the clawbacks of infrastructure projects across the country, the closure of not just IRS offices, but Social Security offices, SBA offices around the country. Republicans are making it hard for Americans to try to live their American dream right now.
And so the Speaker twice, as a matter of fact, in the 15 minutes or so he spoke, said today that they would not be touching Medicare, Medicaid, or Social Security. But clearly there has to be some look into if the Republicans follow through on what they say they must do, right? They have to look into Medicare, Medicaid, and Social Security. Where is that balance, Senator?
Exactly. The numbers have to add up somehow. So you look at the amount of tax breaks they want to give, it's got to come from somewhere. And these are obviously pots that will have to be, they're going to have to put at the table to achieve the tax breaks that they want. They're denying it right now because the language is not in this budget resolution. But make sure we're all watching and paying close attention when the actual budget bill comes back. Where are they getting the money? They're getting it out of the pockets of working families across the country.
Hey, Senator, I know that also the House today also approved the SAVE Act, a bill requiring proof of citizenship for voter registrations. The president signed a similar executive order last month. That executive order has been challenged legally, but this is a bill now that has been passed by the House. It's going to go now to the Senate. How do you feel on that?
Yeah. There's that saying, when this is a solution in search of a problem, this is a classic example of the SAVE Act. What Republicans are doing is, once again, demonizing immigrants for the sake of making it harder for eligible citizens to register to vote and to cast their ballots in elections. It's voter suppression in disguise, not so much of a disguise. Here's the truth. It is already illegal for non-citizens to vote in our elections. Even the very conservative Heritage Foundation has only found less than 70 instances of a non-citizen voting over the last 40 years. Our current laws and protections are working. What would the SAVE Act do? It would make it harder for members of the military, for example, when they're deployed to a different base and maybe have to re-register, and it's not so easy, from not maybe being able to vote in the next election. Or a woman who's married and changed her last name, and all of a sudden her ID doesn't match her birth certificate. This is voter suppression, and it's unnecessary. The last big piece of hypocrisy here, Jose, is when Democrats have proposals on how we strengthen our democracy and voting rights, the Republicans are so quick to say, no, states run elections. The federal government should not dictate how states do it. But when it's Donald Trump who has these horrible ideas, they're silent and want to advance that. Even Mitch McConnell knows better and has spoken publicly against both the executive order that Donald Trump is trying to do and the SAVE Act, which includes the same provisions.
Hey, Senator, I've been looking forward to having this back and forth with you on this, because it's something that I think a lot of people aren't recognizing the incredible impact that it's going to have. NBC News is reporting that the IRS has reached a deal with Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, to share some tax records and information of immigrants, for example, who have ITIN, right? Who use ITIN, this tax ID number. So many people in our community, Senator, I'm not telling you anything you don't know, but have been, once they have come over the border or overstayed their visa in their attempt to get right with the American government, have been paying taxes through ITIN when it was once and a million times told to them that that information was sacrosanct. What does this change mean?
This is Donald Trump and Republicans breaking yet another promise. Plain and simple. And in this case, right, those tax identification numbers for someone who may not have a Social Security number, but is working and is going to file their taxes. That's the way it's been done. And we've told people we're going to protect this information. It will not be used against you. And so, classic example of the Trump administration and their cruelty, their immorality in utilizing this information to target immigrants for detention and deportation. What happened to only focusing on violent criminals? They're going after taxpayers. You know, when DHS is doing enforcement actions in schools now, that used to be sacrosanct. In workplaces now, these are people working, contributing to the economy. In churches, is nothing sacred? So expect, again, both legislative pushback where we can, litigation where we can, and yet another reason to keep organizing in communities around the country as we prepare for the midterm elections.